So in this tutorial we're going to look at renaming files, creating new folders, and moving files back and forth from a drive, an external drive, so that you have your files backed up. Right now we have a window open. If you don't have a window open, go down to your dock and click the Finder to open a window. And I'm going to go to that folder that has my Photoshop class stuff in it. Right now I have a file here. It is a JPEG. I know that it's a JPEG because at the very end of the file it says dot and then the extension name, which is JPG. Now Macs have a really cool feature. I like it quite a bit. If you click on one to highlight it and hit your space bar, there's a program that's always running in the background called Preview, and it will actually pop that sucker up real big so you can see what that file is. And then to make that go small again, you see you've got some little symbols up here. You can either click that to close the window, you can click the expand arrows to make it fill everything. We'll exit full screen. To get out of it all, you can just hit spacebar again. That's really nice. This file has got a kind of nonsense name that it had when I downloaded it. I won't be able to find that again by that name. It's not very memorable. So let's rename this file. I'm going to rename it by clicking on it once and then hitting enter, which will highlight the part of that name that I need to rename. Now you'll notice the last three letters did not get highlighted. That's because on a file, those last three letters are the extension, and it's part of what the computer looks at to know what program to open that file in. So I don't want to change anything that comes after the dot. There should be a dot and three letters. We just want to change what's in front of it. So I'm going to call this one a desktop wallpaper. And then to finish, to make it so that I'm not editing it anymore, I can hit enter again. And there it is, our new renamed wallpaper. So let's say I was going to download a whole bunch more wallpapers and maybe even some other files that aren't even related to wallpapers. To organize things and keep things tidy, I could create a folder to put all of my wallpapers in. To create a folder, you can go to a couple different spots. So up here in the top, there's a little function gear that you can click on, and it gives you a bunch of options, and you can choose new folder out of that, and that will create a new folder down here. So I would name this desktop wallpapers and then hit enter or return, and that will finalize. Now what if I wanted to make another folder but didn't want to go up here? There's almost always a couple different ways you can do things on a Mac. So I'm going to right click, or if I don't have a right click button, I'm going to hold control and click, and I have that same option right here where I can say new folder, other stuff. Okay, so now we know how to name folders. If I wanted to rename a folder that's already been named, you used to be able to right click and do it. Not anymore. What you can do is either click on it so that it's highlighted and push enter, or you can do kind of a slow double click on it, which will do the same thing. It will highlight the name. To move a file from one place to the other is very simple. You can just click the file. So I'm going to click this desktop wallpaper, click, hold down my mouse, and drag it down here to that other folder that highlights. Now if I hold it over that folder for a moment, it'll actually open up a window so that I can see what I'm dropping it into. And when I let go, that's moved that around, and I could close out of this. So now I have these two folders. Let's say I've been working on my stuff all day on the computer, I have these folders, I have my files, and I'm done. I'm ready to move from one computer maybe at school to my computer at home, and I need to take these files with me. What you need to have is some sort of an external storage device. Often those are thumb drives, or perhaps even a jump drive. I know they are forever inventing new ways to move stuff around. There's even things like an online storage option where you would upload your files over the internet. For Photoshop, we'll be working with some fairly large files. I would recommend just get a good quality external drive that's at least 16 gigs big, and when you plug one of those into your USB port on your computer, the thumbnail for it, so that you can get into this drive, should appear in a couple of places. So mine appeared on my desktop. The other place it'll show up is here in your sidebar where it says Devices. If those aren't showing, you can click Show, and here it is. I have one called RS Photos. So double click on that icon to open the window. I'm going to create a new folder on this hard drive to put all of my Photoshop stuff in. So again, to create a new folder, I can come up to the little gear, click that, and choose New Folder. And I'm going to type this as Photoshop stuff. I'm going to double click on that to navigate into the folder. And then if I want to move these files over onto my hard drive, I come back to this first window, I click and drag, and that'll let me select both of those, and then I can click and drag and see it says I've got 2 items. I'm going to move them over here. Now you'll notice I just had a little plus green sign show up by my files. What that means is I'm actually copying them over to this drive. So when I let go, it'll create a brand new copy on this drive, but still leave these ones over here. Once I have these files on my drive and I need to take my drive with me, you need to safely eject your drive. Used to be on a PC, you could just pull the drive out and it would be fine. On Macs, that is not the case. If you pull a drive out without ejecting it, you could actually damage the drive and ruin your files. So the ways you can do that are either in your sidebar here, you can see that the icon of this drive has a little eject. You could click that. The other thing you can do at any time is to click and drag this icon down to your dock, and where the trash bin was has actually changed to an eject symbol. So once I drop that onto the eject and that icon disappears, it is safe to take my drive out of the USB drive. So now I'm left with the files that I created on this computer. Now if you're on your home computer, you probably want to leave these here and just update them as your files on your drive are now newer. But if you're on a public computer, you might want to actually delete these after you're gone for a couple of reasons. One, there may be something private in there that you don't want other people seeing. Or 2, you don't want somebody coming along and claiming your work as their own and taking off with a copy of it. So let's get rid of these. I'm going to come back to this folder and select both of these. Now we already said you could click and drag around to select more than one thing. You can also click on one, hold down Shift, and click on the other one. Now I'm going to give you an example, and I hope I don't boggle your mind here, but I'm just going to create a bunch of new folders so you can see how this works. If I click on the top one and hold down Shift, then click on the bottom one, it's going to select all of those folders at once, or between all of the folders between my first and second click. But what if I didn't want to affect these folders in the middle? I just wanted to get the desktop wallpapers and maybe Untitled Folder 4. I could click on one file and then hold down the Command key and then click on another one, and I can click on as many as I want to add to my selection. If I grab the wrong one by accident, maybe I don't want this folder too, I can click on it again to deselect it. Alright, so let's say I wanted to completely get rid of these folders. What would I do? I need to select all of them, so I'm going to click on the top one, hold down Shift, click on the bottom one, and then I'm going to throw them away. So I can right click and say Move to Trash. I could drag them down to the trash, and now when I come down to my dock I can see my trash is actually full. So if I right click on that and tell it to empty, it'll empty those folders. You may get a window asking, are you sure you want to do this? You say yes, you want to empty the trash. And now those folders are gone. So there's that in a nutshell. You've got moving things, you've got deleting things. The one thing we didn't cover was actually making copies of things within the same area. So let's say I had worked on, let's call this one homework 1, and I've reached a point that I don't want to mess up this original. I put a lot of work into this, but I still need to do some more work on it. I might want to make a copy of that file and continue working on the new copy. So essentially I have a backup one. To do that, you don't get to that again by right-clicking on it anymore. That's the old way of doing it. So what you can do is click on it once and then use the Command C to copy, and then the Command V as in Victor to paste. Alright, so those are commands. You can also access the same thing by coming up here to File, I believe, and going to Duplicate. And that will make yet another copy. So remember, when you're in this Windows setup, these menus apply to the windows. So if I have this highlighted, I could come up here to my file and say, okay, well here's another place that I could say I want a new folder, or I want a new burn folder, which is something else. One thing we really haven't talked about is new tabs. If you're in anything before Mavericks, you won't have this option. Mavericks is set up for tabs, which threw me for a loop. I was not expecting it. But if I say new tab, instead of opening a separate window, it creates a tab. Very similar to how if you're working on an internet browser, we'll create a new tab. So here, let's say I'm in my documents folder, and over here I'm in my homework folder. So it's just another way of kind of keeping everything in one spot and minimizing the mess on your desktop, which Apple is crazy about. They love doing that. Those are tabs. You can click and drag a tab away to tear it off and it becomes its own new window. You can click a window and drag it over, I think. No, I was wrong. I thought you could drag it back. You can create new tabs also by right-clicking and saying, oh, not that either. Boy, I'm lying to you all sorts of ways. Obviously, I don't use the tabs, mostly because I grew up working a completely different way and I'm used to having loose windows, so I like having my windows out and about that I can do. So that is essentially moving, renaming, and all of that fun stuff to files.